It's Ehizoje, everyone's favorite Nigerian.
This that real life shit, nigga.
But let's jump into some of these other topics, man. How do I say this? How do I say like the first time something happened?
I can't think of a word. I want to say inaugural, but that sounds really presidential.
It does, but it works in this case. So I showed the inaugural. Nah, it doesn't work. I showcased this for the first time last episode. New topic.
Oh, debut. You could be the debut.
Debuted it last episode. It's called Did Trump do that? And again, the answer to this question every week is gonna be yes, that motherfucker did. And I'm just gonna be here to, give y'all information about what our president is doing with the powers that be. So we all know about the plane crash that happened in DC. American Airlines flight crashed into the Black Hawk. 64 passengers on the airline's flight. 3 soldiers in the Black Hawk. All of them unfortunately passed away. There were no survivors. During the press conference, when the bodies were still in the river, Donald Trump decided to take that time to turn this political and blame it on DEI.
I think at this point with Trump, I'm kind of in a place where like Trump is like if you've ever dated a petty woman,
yeah,
where it's like, or like not even a petty woman, it could be like your mom even, where it's like, I don't know, say you like got a bad grade on the test in like school or something, and she'll be like, oh, it's because you're on that phone. Like I feel like Trump is in the place where he just like anything could happen, like it could snow tomorrow, and Trump be like, yeah, it's because of those black people. Or it's like DEI, and it's like there's no correlation, but he's just always gonna find a way to be like, oh, you stubbed your toe? DEI. Oh, the gas is expensive? DEI. Like, everything for him is going to come back to, like, him trying to make himself right.
The biggest gainers from DEI, by the way, white women.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. But, yeah, it's crazy. You would think that from a president, you would want your president to, like, comfort you, right? Like, those are a lot of families that just lost somebody or some people forever. And he's taking the time to blame it on DEI. It's just strange time in 2025.
I think what makes it funny too is, like, I think in this past like 12 months, I've probably flown more than I've flown like at any other time in my life, just going like back and forth between here and the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I feel like unless it's just something that maybe changed recently, I don't see a ton of like non-white male pilots. So that's why when he keeps saying DEI for the crashes, I'm like, does he know something that I don't know? Because I don't get in planes and see black people flying planes, Mexicans. It's always white guys.
So that was my first takeaway too. And then somebody kind of brought it up to me like, oh, I don't think he was talking about the pilots themselves, but the air traffic controllers.
Are those like predominantly black and brown people?
I don't know, bro.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I don't have the stats. But I mean, even if you want to talk about the air traffic controllers, like the leader of the FAA stepped down once like Trump got into office because of whatever pressures he was getting from Elon Musk, and they never assigned somebody else to replace him.
Yeah.
And so you got all these air traffic people who are understaffed already that you're trying to defund, and now they're overworked. I don't know. It's a recipe for disaster, but
most definitely.
I don't know. It wasn't the time or place to put blame on any person, place, or thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Next thing, and did Trump do that? Started a tariff war with Mexico and Canada. It lasted like 2 days.
Yeah, it was kind of funny seeing the tweets.
But it was in fact a tariff war. He decided to put 20% tariffs on everything that gets imported from Mexico or Canada. Obviously, the businesses that are importing are going to cover those costs, and those get pushed down to the consumers. Canada and Mexico decided to retaliate. Well, Canada decided to retaliate. I don't think Mexico really said anything, but Canada retaliated, put 100% tariffs on certain products going from or coming in from the United States. This happened, I want to say last weekend, so 2 weekends from whenever you guys are listening. And literally the next day, we see tweets from the president of Mexico and a tweet from the president of Canada or the prime minister of Canada. And essentially stating, "Oh, we just got off the phone with Donald Trump. This is what we're gonna do to put a pause to the tariff war. We're gonna put troops at the border to help slow the exportation of drugs into the United States." The funny part about that, Mexico had this plan in place and has been doing so
For a minute, right?
since last April
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Canada announced the same exact plan in December. So essentially, I'm assuming the call went, Trump decided to call. They were like, no, this is the way it is. If you want to put tariffs on us, we're putting tariffs on you. An economist probably got in line with Trump, said, hey, you're going to fuck the whole economy.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump was like, hey, I can't look bad in front of my people. So you got to do me a solid, make it look like I got something out of this.
I think what Trump does is like, it's kind of like when you got in trouble with your parents and like your mom was actually mad, but your dad didn't really care.
Right.
So your dad would come in the room and like, you're like, okay, we're gonna make it look like I yelled at you and like you got in trouble, but like you're really good. And then he goes back out there to the mom and goes like, yeah, I tore him up in there. I think Trump does that with us where he's like, yeah, it's this, that, and the third. And then he goes and talks to them and he's like, hey man, I'm just wilding right now, but like, you know, kind of rock with me. And then they go, sure. And then he comes back to us and goes, oh, we fixed it, but I made him fix it. I don't think these calls go the way that he portrays them to go at all.
No, like we've seen reports from like the first time he was in office of like literal other countries, like the diplomats from other countries laughing at us because of how unprofessional and like how unserious Trump is, bro. Like they don't take him serious, bro. Only his base does. Only MAGA people take him serious.
And his base, the Trump fans that I know that are like active, loud, Make America Great Again hat wearing Trump fans are all very like, I don't know how to say it and not sound like rude, but they're like lower members of society. Like they're very like
uneducated.
Yeah. And then the ones that I know that are like quiet Trump fans are even sometimes they'll be like, well, he didn't have to say it like that. But like, you know, like I don't know. I don't know what his game is. And I know this is his last term unless he gets that whatever that amendment is he's trying to get passed. But it's like, I think we'll look back at this and be like, this was a really funny time in politics that wasn't like funny to everybody. It was just Trump was an idiot doing idiot stuff.
I feel like people are so concerned about having something different.
Yeah.
That they will turn to whoever like obviously Trump had a cachet to him pre-first term, right? And so everyone was like, oh, I mean, it's Trump, like, but it sounds good. Also, by the way, I got into an argument with somebody because they said Trump is charismatic. And I said, I don't think he's charismatic.
I don't think he thinks he's charismatic.
If you think he's charismatic, that's on you. I do not find him charismatic in the least bit, but, you know, perspective is a thing. But yeah, obviously he has like a supportive base, right?
Yeah.
And people now, it's actually a little frustrating how people do not want professionals to do the jobs that they are professionals in.
But I think that's like I was talking to one of my friends from school about that, where I was like, nobody would go into a surgery. And if they were like right before they put you under, like, yeah, the guy who does your surgery, this is his first one, didn't go to med school. He kind of just, he played some like, you know, some doctor games on his iPad or whatever. I think we'd all be like, oh, I don't want that guy. I don't get why with politics, there's this belief of like, we don't want the person who studied this or has a resume.
Like literally, I was like, bro, I want the career politician.
Yeah, 100%.
I want the person who's done 100%. This. Like, I want the person who's like trained on this. Like the only person in his cabinet. Well, let me not say the only person because I don't know.
It's one of the only
full cabinet, but that actually has experience in what they're doing is Marco Rubio. And I don't even fuck with Marco Rubio, but he obviously knows how to be a politician.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like Secretary of State. I think he's Secretary of State. Like he could go into those rooms. He knows what to ask for. If you listen to him speak, it's like, okay, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
No, definitely.
And then you have somebody like Robert F. or RFK Jr., right? Who, look, if he was anything in regards to law, okay, do what you gotta do because that's what he studied.
Yeah,
that's what he knows.
But he's
out here throwing out medical conspiracy theories that have been disproven time and time again. And for some reason, people don't want to do their own research. They're just like, that sounds good. We're going to listen to what RFK says. It's like, no, bro. Like, this is bad. He was in charge of America Samoa for a little bit. their like healthcare like plan, and he told them to stop taking vaccines. And then they had a measles breakout. It was like, what'd you think was gonna happen?
I feel like in 2025, like you made a point a moment ago where you were saying that like people don't want to do their own research. I have like if we lived in an era where like doing research meant you had to physically like go to a library and like check out a book and read it and stuff like that, I would have a lot of leeway for people being like, I just don't have the time, or like I don't know how to do research. We have Chat GPT, we have Gemini, we have DeepSeek, the new one. We have Perplexity.
Careful on that one though.
Yeah, be a little fishy about that one. But we have so many avenues of like you can push a button on your phone and have a conversation with the internet. I don't want to hear that you like don't have time to do research. It's like making a phone call at this point almost. So I don't know.
It's like people saying, "Oh, I don't have time to text back."
I don't.
What do you mean you ain't got time to text back? Like
I'll aggressively die on that hill. Like I have strong feelings about this. Anytime you don't text somebody back in 2025, you did not want to. You have your phone on you, in your hands, or near you at any point in time. We have too many Apple Watches. You can text back from a computer, a desk. Like if you don't text somebody back in 2025, you did not want to. You didn't forget. You did not see it. You didn't want to.
I hate when people say they're too busy, especially if I know you, because I'm like, I don't say it, but I'm like, I'm busier than you.
Exactly. Unless you're out here curing cancer, I know you could send a 2-second text message back. I don't want to. Oh, that's like you can even ask Siri to do it.
Like you don't have to put thought into like text. Like we're not having a deep conversation.
Yeah.
Like if it's a deep conversation, I understand. Like take your time, think about what you're about to send me.
That's fair, yeah. But a simple text back.
If it's just like, oh yeah, like I don't even know what an average text would be in 2025 because I'm older now, so I only text people like when we're gonna like link up for something. But like if I'm like, oh, what time are you gonna get there? And you text me like an hour before, oh, I'm gonna be there at this time.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm not even going no more.
Yeah, it's too late.
Like,
it's too late
what
now.
are you talking about?
I told somebody that the other day. I was like, if it's not in my calendar, and I know that sounds so like old.
Yeah.
But like honestly,
a little pretentious, but I mean that's what
truth.
it is.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you can't send me a calendar invite, if you can't like tell me the date and the time, if you can't do these simple things, I will sit at home. Like sitting at home is not. I think when we were like kids, it's like, oh dang, I'm not going anywhere this weekend.
FOMO, yeah.
As an adult, I will sit at home and have a great weekend by myself.
Yeah, 100%. Whenever I have a weekend where I'm not doing shit,
oh man,
like potting might be the only thing I do right that weekend, and I'm just home like the rest of the time. Not only do I get to relax, I get to decompress.
You don't spend any money.
I get to save money.
Like, come on,
I get
man.
to catch up on shows.
Oh man,
I'll FaceTime a couple of girls. just
relaxing. Just relaxing.
Like, what you want? It's been a minute. I miss you a little bit.
Come on, like that's a great weekend. Not leaving the house. Maybe you go and get some food or something simple, but no plans. Oh man, that's a great time. What else did Trump do? He did something, I'm sure.
Trump is trying to end U.S. aid. So, for those of you who don't know what USAID is, established in 1961, USAID is the United States Agency for International Development. It's been around for 65 years. It's an independent agency of the U.S. federal government responsible for administering civilian foreign aid and development assistance. It partners with more than 100 countries and focuses on economic growth, health and education, humanitarian assistance, democracy and governance, and environmental sustainability. Now, at this time, a federal judge has blocked Trump's attempt to put 2,200 USAID workers on leave. But if this case goes to the Supreme Court, which it probably will.
Yeah, they're his boys.
They're going to vote in his favor because they have a MAGA majority.
I don't understand, and I'm sure that the economics of this are more complex than what I'm about to phrase it as. But Trump seems to be firing everybody. And so I'm like, okay, you're firing federal employees. That should mean we have more federal funds. Yeah. Where is this money going? Because he can't I don't want to hear, how they do the shutdown every year?
Yeah.
I don't want to see a shutdown this year because it's you fired everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is what Trump is doing. He's the guy who just bought out a new company, right? That was on the rise. And he starts cutting out different departments without knowing what those departments do. And then he's going to turn around in 6 months and everyone who's left, he's going to be like, why the fuck didn't this get done?
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't that get done? Why the fuck, like, why is y'all's efficiency down the toilet? And it's like, oh, you fired everybody who was important to how things run.
Yeah,
You don't have a full grasp of the business you got into.
And the thing is, I would assume the people. I mean, I guess this goes back to what you were saying earlier, but I would assume the people on the cabinet would be like, "Hey, Trump, you probably shouldn't do that." But if they don't know either,
They don't.
then it's kind of just like, I don't know. I don't know what his end game is, and I'm really interested to see because he has not been president for like more than a month at this point.
I mean, let's not show him any bill. Like, he's been president for 4 years and a month now.
No, I'm saying this time specifically, he's done so much that like when somebody's like, "Yeah, Trump got inaugurated in 2025," it's like, no, it feels like it's been way longer because he's just been so busy.
Yeah.
Like every day, it's something on the news, it's something on Twitter, where it's just like this. We're doing this for another 3.5 years. Well, more than a half. I don't know. He's been busy.
There's this clip that I seen of Steve Bannon. If you don't know Steve Bannon, look him up. He's one of Trump's guys, right? Extremely smart person, but in a devious way. Like one of the people that you don't want playing for the other team.
Evil villain smart.
Yeah. So there was this clip and he's talking about it and he's all like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw 3 things at the wall and they're gonna be so preoccupied with 1 or 2 of those things that the third one's just gonna get through. And if we just keep doing that, everything we ultimately want to do will get done.
But see, I don't get why they have to do that because so like historically, like I think in Obama's first term, it was like sure the president was Democratic, but I think the House and the Senate and like even the Supreme Court, I think they were leaning against him or something like that.
Yeah.
With Trump, like I've heard that theory as well, but I get confused because I'm like, well, you guys won the House, you guys have the Supreme Court, like you have 3 of the 3 branches. Why do you have to like do all this trickeration? Why don't you just do stuff?
Well, the thing about the House and the Senate, it's Republican majority, not MAGA majority.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So there is like a certain limit. Like I think they have a minority control of like the House and Senate where if you flip 2 or 3 of those seats in favor of like the opposite, then it's probably not going to go through, right?
Yeah.
But
okay, that makes sense.
That's just what I think. That's my
No,
initial.
I think it makes sense because I could see Trump even. Granted, this would be insane, but I could see him trying to start like almost his own party because I feel like even with the Republicans, so many like average Republicans are like, I'm a Republican, but I don't really like that guy.
Yep.
So I don't know. That'd be interesting because what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
All right, last one, and then we're off of Trump. He had a press conference a couple of days ago. Said the United States should occupy the Gaza Strip for redevelopment, and the Palestinians, Free Palestine, should be moved out. And I know once that press conference was aired, everybody that voted for Trump because they didn't like what the Democrats were doing or abstained from voting because they didn't like what the Democrats were doing out in the Middle East, their hearts had to drop to their stomach because in that moment they had to be like, oh, we're dumb as fuck. We don't have no foresight. We don't do no critical thinking. Like Trump is supported by one of the biggest Israeli super PACs in the United States. He's friends with Netanyahu. What did you think was gonna happen?
I'm not gonna lie. So like everything else we've talked about with Trump, I've kind of been like it's been surprising, but it hasn't been like especially shocking. It's kind of like, I didn't think he would do that, but I'm not surprised he did. With this, if Trump actually does this will be the one thing that he's done so far. Granted, give him time. This will be the one thing where I'm like, I had no idea that he was gonna take it this far. Like I thought he might have like said some pro-Israel stuff. I was expecting that, but us occupying the Strip is like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. If it happens, I'll be extremely shocked.
Yeah, I hope it's just him talking.
I hope.
But I don't put nothing past Trump. But we'll see. That was this week's episode. And did Trump do that? And y'all know, yes, that motherfucker did.
Every time.